Hello and welcome to Mastering Power Query video series. This is video number 20. In this video, we are going to talk about appending queries concept in Power Query. Without much ado, let's get into the Power Query editor and let's load the data sets and let's understand what is meant by appending queries. All right, so we are in a blank Excel. We're going to connect to a data set where they have given us 3/4 of data and they want us to put that 3/4 of data, which are individual data sets, and they want us to put it into one master data set, meaning we have to stack the first quarter data, below that the second quarter data, below that the third quarter data. When the fourth quarter data comes in, it should be below the third quarter data. So as and when the data comes in, it should get stacked one below the other. So whenever you want to stack the data one below the other, then you will be going for the transformation called appending queries. But in the last few videos, you learned about merging queries, which is taking the related data from one table to another table using a common column. And appending is completely different, where you are collating the informations from different data sets. So when I say collating, there are different ways to think about it. The first basic thing is stacking the data one below the other. Some people take this to the next level, that after the stacking is done, you can also go to the process of grouping it, which is summarizing it. We have already done a video related to the grouping of data sets. You can even do that grouping operation once you got the appending operation completed. So basically, appending means stacking one data below the other. Now, the second thing which you have to be very clear, whenever you are stacking the data one below the other from different data sources or from different files of the same data source. Now let's take, in this case, as Excel files. So we're going to take the data from different sheets. What you have to look out is the data structure of the data set should be exactly same. When I mean data set is the header arrangement, or even if the header arrangement is not in proper way, at least the way the headers are called should be same across the data sets, which are very important for us. So never mind the position, but the way the header is called, it should be same in all the data set. Example, the production is a column header where I'm tracking the production. In the second quarter, it should not be units produced, then I'll have a problem. It should also be mentioned as production. So if you're capturing a data in 1 month under one header, that's the same header you should have used in the second month also, not a different header. When I say different header, it means even the extra spaces, and sometimes it is also case sensitive. You need to take care it is exact replica of what you had in the previous data set. So mostly this is appending process is highly recommended for the downloadable data sets, not manual data sets, because when we say downloadable data sets, the data sets are getting downloaded from applications where there is no manual touch point where somebody goes and disturbs a header. But if it's a manually tracked data, we don't have a control over it. The only person who has a control over it is the creator. So this is the best one which you can think about if you're downloading from SAP or any other CRM or ERP, month-on-month data or weekly data or quarterly data. You want to put them into one single data set and take it further, then absolutely this is one area which you have to think about. Now, when we talk about stacking data one below the other, some of the mind might think, why I can't simply copy and paste one below the other? What's the value addition the appending queries is going to do for me? Now, understand the main reason why someone will think about going for Power Query for such kind of exercise when my data size is so huge. Remember that I have only 1 million rows in Excel. So let's say that put together all the data sets, if my number of rows of the collated data is going to exceed 1 million, your Excel cannot handle it. And that's where the Power Query will help you, that you can append it one below the other, then you can group it and then bring it so that it fits into the Excel limit. Sometimes people take the help of the next tool called Power Pivot. which will help you to summarize a humongous data like this, but still we need the help of Power Query to get the appending process completed, which in turn gets loaded to the data model of the Power Pivot and then comes into the Excel as a pivot table. Well, wait for the Power Pivot. We will be seeing very shortly once we learn about the appending and combining. Yeah, but remember, we are not talking about just copy pasting one video. It is the size of the data which we are talking about here. Yeah, so it's a huge data. Second thing, the main reason why I'm coming to the Power Query, as you all know, we've been reiterating that in every video, that you don't have to do anything repeatedly. It is done only once. Next time when you have a similar data set, all you have to do, just get that data set inside. All the transformations, whatever we have done, is going to be taken care even for that data set. So there is automation involved, there is less complication involved. This is amazing for the people who are involved in consolidations and collations and MIS report preparations. So let's go ahead and connect to the data sets where we have 3/4 of data, and let's understand how do we do this appending queries. So what I'm going to do is go to the get data, and I'm going to go to launch Power Query editor. And in the Power Query editor, let me zoom it for you guys. In the Power Query editor, then I'm going to go to the new source, and I'm going to the file menu, Excel workbook, and it's taking me to the data set which I want to connect. I'm selecting that. I'm going to click import, and let's wait for the window to pop up, and it's going to ask us, there are 3 sheets, which is nothing but 3/4 of data. I want to get all of these guys inside, so I'm going to activate this box which says select multiple items. I'm going to activate the 3/4 of data, but do watch, all these guys have the same structure. If you could see here, it's the same structure of data. So that's the reason I'm qualifying this data set for the appending process. So once I've selected all the data sets which I want to load, I go to the bottom right corner, I click OK. So once the data set is loaded, I'm going to go to the first data set, which is termed here as Q1 because it was a sheet name, so it picked up that. So I'm going to leave it as it is, no problem in this. But what I'm going to do is I need to do a couple of transformations here. As you can see, this is not in a perfect table structure, so we need to do a couple of transformations here. So let's go and get that process completed. So I'm going to delete this change type, and I'm going to go to the option split column by delimiter, and my delimiter is comma, which is going to be picked up automatically. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to go to the right side, discard the change type, come back here, and we're going to say use first row as header, and that's done. After that, whatever changes has been done, that's perfect for me. But what I'm worried about is, okay, date has been read as date, so that's perfect. So we have everything in place with the right data set, with the right data type set. So we're going to repeat this for the rest. So let's go to the Q2, let's go to the right side and remove this, and I'm gonna go to the split column by delimiter. Then I'm gonna go for okay, then I'm gonna go to the right side, remove this change type, use first row as header, then I'm okay with the change type. Go for the last quarter, the next one, Q3. Again, I go to the right side, get rid of the change type, and I'm gonna go to split column by delimiter. Then I'm gonna click OK with the comma. Then I'm going to the right side, discard the change type, use first row as header. Alrighty, so everything is completed. Now, one thing you can observe here is I'm going to each data, which I'm going to stack one below the other. I'm repeating the transformations for each data sets, even though the structure is exactly the same. Should I need to do it? The answer is yes, but there is also a much better way, which we'll be seeing in the next video. So do watch the next video. All right. So now in this case, we have done the transformations for all the 3/4 of data. Everything is done. So all we need to do is bring this into one master data. So I'm going to go to the Home tab. Under the Combine group, there is an option called Append Queries. Just like your merge query, it's going to ask you, do you want to append in the existing query itself, or you want to have it as a new one? Absolutely, I want it as a new one. I don't want to disturb the individual data sets. So I'm going to go for the option append queries as new. So let's click that. and a pop-up is going to come up here. Well, if you're going to do only for 2 tables, that this dialog box is perfectly fine, but I'm going to deal with 3 or more, so I'm going to go for the choice 3 or more. When you go for this choice, you do have an option to decide what you want, what you don't want. All those you can do here. So I want to have the Q1, I want to have the Q2, but the Q3 should be at the bottom. So literally I'm designing the placements of the data sets also when it is getting stacked up. So once I have decided these are the data sets I want to have it appended, and this is the order I want to be seeing them appended. Once everything is done, we're going to click OK, and that's going to come in as a new query. And we're going to say this is the master appended data, so which contains the details of Q1, Q2, and Q3. So if you could see here, all these are done. So now I can go back and load it. Now when I want to load it, now let's be very cautious when you're going to load it back, because when you say close and load to, what's going to happen is it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to load all those 4 queries? So this is where you need to be very smart. Okay, I don't want to load all of them, because if that's the case, I could have simply copied and pasted one below the other. So I don't want to load all of them. I want to load only the last one, which is the appended data. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to the choice only create connection, so that it creates only the connection file for all these 4 data sets for me. And if I come to the right side, now it's only connections, so they are not yet pulled inside the Excel. So I'm going to select this data, which the appended data, this is the one I want to see here. So I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go to the option again, load to. So when I say load to, again, I'm going to get this pop-up that is for specifically for the appended data. Now I'll say provide it to me as a table. Later I will decide what do I want to do with that data. If I want to do create some extra columns, I can do it, or I want to bring it to a pivot table, I can do that. So your call basically. I'm going to go for the choice table. I'm going to click OK in the existing place where it is pointing out. I'm perfectly fine. So if you could see here, this is the data which contains the 3/4 of data put together. We have it around 301 rows of data. So each quarter had around 100 rows of data. Because I know that contains, and so we've got all the quarters of data in one single table. Now do remember, when you're loading it into Excel, 2 things to take care: only connection, and then later you decide the final appended data. How do you want to see it based on the size of the data which you're managing it? If your size of the data is pretty huge, then load them as a pivot table only, not as a table. Then you will have a performance issues, or you might land into not responding modes. So tomorrow, if you get the Q4 data, then what do you have to do then? Yeah, so let me show you that. So let's say I'm going to go back to the Power Query editor. So I'm going to right click here and click on edit. And let's say you got the Q4 data, and they have included that as a part of the same Excel file as one of the sheets. So there was Q4 data. So let me do this quickly, practically, so that you guys can see this, what I'm talking about. Let me close this and open that data set which we are talking about. Okay, so here you can see I have Q and Q3. So I'm going to create a copy of this Q3 to illustrate what we are talking about. So now I have Q4, let's say Q4. Okay, so now there's a Q4 data available. So I'm going to save this and close it. And let's come back here and let's refresh it. Well, will I see any change here? Absolutely no. We still have the same 300 rows. The new data, the Q4 data, is never brought into the picture. So I need to bring that into the picture. So I'm going to go to the edit. Okay, so I'm in the Power Query editor. Then I'm going to go to the appended data where I'm trying to see, is it possible for me to include that quarter 4 data? So I'm going to come to the applied step in the source. I'm going to click on this gear icon, and I'm trying to see, can I get that quarter 4 here? No, we don't have it because we have just loaded only the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. So what I'm going to do is select the quarter 3, and I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to change this to Q4. And in the Q4, I go to this step where it says navigation. I go to the navigation step. So in the navigation, I'm trying to click the gear icon, and it's pointing out to Q3. So I'm going to change it to Q4, the new sheet which is being added in the file. I'm going to select that. I'm going to click OK. Now it's going to connect to the Q4 sheet. You can see here it got connected to the Q4 sheet, and I want to just keep moving to the next. So that means the Q4 is also brought into the picture. Now I go to the appended side, and then I go to this gear icon. Now the Q4 is available. All I have to do is select this Q4 and add it to my tables to append, and I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to close and load to again because we got a new data set, and I don't want to load this Q4 along with the appended data. I want to go to the close and load to, and guess what we're going to choose is only create connection. We're going to click OK, and the Q4 should also be loaded, and you can see the master got that extra 100 rows of data. And that is how you need to take care when an extra data comes in and you want to include that as a part of your appended data. So every time when the new data comes in, all you got to do, just duplicate the one of the data set which you already have it, and then change the source, and then bring into the action and go back to the query where you have the appended data, go to the gear icon, add that new data into the table to append, and then come back and you got that right away. All right, so that's all about appending, and in the next video we'll get to see something interesting about, on the same line, something called combining queries. Until then, take care of yourself. Signing off, Hariharan.